Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review and reviewing a film that came out this year. Um, a film that I do like. I was looking forward to when I first saw the Comic Con trailer last year, and that is of the newest film from director Steven Spielberg, and that is of Ready Player One. So, Ready Player One, based on the book by Ernest Cline. I haven't read the book though, so I don't know what it. I know it's supposed to be a nod to like all the '80s and '90s, all the stuff. That's what the film was made for, or what based on the book for. So, and which I enjoy the '80s and the '90s because I was born in the '90s, '91 to be exact. I was born in '91, so just in those stuff, the '90s stuff. Um, but Ready Player One. I would say I still do like the film. I saw this in the theater with my brother. We both liked the film, and I would say, but to say though, it's not one of the best. It's not in my favorite Steven Spielberg films. It's not in my top five. Maybe if I did a top 10 list, I don't think it still wouldn't be in my top 10 though. I don't think it would though, but even though if they do a list, so about to think about though. So, but it's definitely not in my top five. But with Steven Spielberg, with him making this film, said it was like the second hardest film he had to do behind Saving Private Ryan, which I can see that, especially from the opening sequence of Saving Private Ryan alone, it seemed like a very difficult scene to make. So, but yeah, but Ready Player One. The film came out, got some positive reviews, has a 72% Rotten Tomatoes, a 6.6 on IMDb. Worldwide, it made 582 million on its budget of 175 million. Uh, what's it? Well, they said that they're trying to make plan on the sequel, so but sure, Steven Spielberg's not returning to do anything, so but I'm drawing a blank on something I was reading up. I forgot. I hate when I do that though. But well, maybe it'll come back to me. But the film, okay, what is it about? It's in the year 2045 in Columbus, Ohio. Our lead guy, played by Tye Sheridan, who played young Scott Summers, Cyclops in X-Men Apocalypse. He narrates and explains about this virtual reality called the Oasis, who was created by James Halliday, played by Mark Rylance. And basically, you can do anything in this world, go places, do anything in this. And in this, you have so many, how many classic pop culture icons from the 80s and 90s and whatever. Just, it's loaded with it. I think that's what this film is made to be. It's just to watch for it. You can point out, oh, look at that and that. Oh, I remember that. Just to point all of those. So, pay a reason why for you to buy this, so you can rewatch and just to pause and freeze or whatever to point out all these pop culture icons. But Waze explains that James Halliday, he created the Oasis, which he also had his friend also created, played by what was it? Odd. Ogden Morrow, played by Simon Pegg. But it was mostly of James Halliday's thing. And when he died, he left a message to everyone that he had created a hidden object, an Easter egg, and the first person to win the egg, to find the egg, will receive $500 billion in total control of the Oasis. But first, you need 3 keys, 3 challenges. So one is a race, one's another clue, which I'll explain though. But and then the other one is, well, one is a race, but and the other one is trying to play like third stage is like playing a game. But and then there's this corporation called Iowa, which it's Iowa, and which is run by a guy named Nolan Sorrento, Sorrento, played by Ben Mendelsohn. he wants to come to defiance so he can have control of the Oasis. Now, before I get into all the pop culture icons, okay, let's get what were their cast here. So you have Tye Sheridan, Olivia Cooke, who's this girl named Samantha, which her avatar's name is Artemis, and Tye Sheridan's avatar is Parzival. Then you got Ben Mendelsohn in there, Simon Pegg, Mark Rylance, and these other characters here, which are like online friends with Parzival, which they're called in the group together called High Five. One is the big guy who does all the fixing and stuff, named H, and the other one is like the samurai named Daito, and the other one, the ninja, his name is Sho. They work together to help to figure out the challenges. Well, it's mostly Parzival does all the figuring out because he practically worships the guy, James Halliday. He knows like a whole bunch of things about him. Now to say though, Tye Sheridan, I didn't like him in X-Men Apocalypse. I didn't care for him as a Cyclops. And that's one thing about it. That's why I don't love it, because the lead guy, I think he was boring. He was a boring lead. That's one. Well, two major things. Tye Sheridan was a boring lead. He was just a bland. That's basically where I put it, as a bland lead. And Ben Mendelsohn, he was a lame villain as well. It's like the same. It's like a cliche that I've seen a dozen times before. Evil corporation wants to take over something. Basically, that's what the cliche is. So Ben Mendelsohn, he was a lame villain. So that's two major problems with this: is the lead and the villain are just bland and boring. But the things why I enjoy about it is just, well, why I don't love it though, but I still like it because visually it's good looking, because that's how the virtual reality world is supposed to be of the Oasis. Visually it's really good looking, and of course everyone says who's seen the film is all the pop culture references, because that's the big thing about this film is all the pop culture references. Like this right here for this poster, it's supposed to be referencing, of course, Back to the Future, of course. The big highlight, one of the big references in this whole film is the DeLorean, which it was cool to see. I enjoy Back to the Future. I enjoy all three of the films. And speaking of Back to the Future, Alan Silvestri, who did the score to Back to the Future films, did the score for this. It's one of the few films that Steven Spielberg did that didn't involve John Williams. He's done on all of his films, most of them except for 3. I think the 3 of them did it was Alan Silvestri. One he did for this film, and the other one for Bridge of Spies, and then for what was it? I think it was The Color Purple that Alan Silvestri did the score on. Not so 3 films that he did that John Williams did not do for Steven Spielberg. And I didn't mind the score by Alan Silvestri because they even made I think they referenced the Back to the Future score from the movies into this. So that's why they added in there, because Alan Silvestri did Back to the Future, and of course you got the DeLorean in there. Besides, it was cool to see the DeLorean because I enjoyed Back to the Future, so it was cool to see the DeLorean in the film. But as more as I go on, the first race is the first challenge. Now, also one thing I have to say that I'm not gonna say every single one, because this is too much, for me to say. So I'm just saying what I want to say about what I see in the pop culture references during the film. Like, first of all, when James Halliday died, you see him, this visual effect of him, his avatar, like, when he's dead, he's like this casket of, like, gives Star Trek symbol around him, like that. And of course, when Wade Watts, Tye Sheridan's real name in the film, references to other stuff as well. But like when he's walking around, when he first enters the scene into the Oasis as his character Parzival, like you see his muscle, you see like a little glimpses of Hello Kitty, Marvin the Martian, and such. But But when they get to the big race, as for vehicles, you see, for a brief moment, you see the race car from Speed Racer. You see the old Batman, the old Batmobile, the one that from Adam West's show. And of course, it was cool for me because my favorite Stephen King film, Christine, the Plymouth Fury. It was nice. It was cool to see that in there. And of course, Artemis, the lead girl, is riding the bike from Akira, of course. Our guy got the DeLorean, and H, he's driving the Bigfoot monster truck. And as the race goes, I think I had this one. I just recently think I figure out, because I really had to look. During the race, there's a semi truck that carrying like these pipes, and like Artemis, like in the trailer, she ducks down to go underneath, as well as Parcel used the DeLorean to use the hover mode to go underneath the truck. I think that the rig, I think that's the Pork Chop Express from Big Trouble in Little China, because I recognize the front of the grill of the truck that Jack Burton drives in Big Trouble in Little China has like the woman on the front of the grill. I think that's the same truck, because I tried to glimpse like the symbol of the Pork Chop Express on the side of his truck. It's really hard to see though, but I recognized the symbol that was on the front of his truck that had the woman on the front of the grill in front of his truck. I think that's what that was when it was carrying those big pipes when they ducked down. I think that was supposed to be the Pork Chop Express from Big Trouble in China. I could be wrong though, because I recognized the symbol. I think that was the Pork Chop Express. I don't think anyone noticed though, because in this film you had to look really hard for all the little quick glimpse of those references. That's why I had to watch it to pause and freeze frame it. Because you're not going to catch all these split-second references within watching it in the theater. I certainly didn't. So I'm pretty sure that was the Pork Chop Express from Big Trouble in Little China. And, of course, you got King Kong, and then you got the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. And as they're driving by, you see like the theater sign that shows the movie playing. You saw Jack Slayer 3 from Last Action Hero, because the writer, Zach Penn, who's one of the writers with this film, along with the guy who wrote the book, Ernest Cline, because Zach Penn helped write on Last Action Hero. So it was cool to see, Schwarzenegger, Jack Slayer 3. It was cool to see that, because I love Last Action Hero. Then it's the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, and then Artemis and Parzival, they couldn't win the race because King Kong was in the way. They go back to H's workshop where he's building the Iron Giant, one of the major references in this film, the Iron Giant. And also like the vehicles that H has in the far back. If you look at it, you see the Winnebago, like Eagle 5 from Spaceballs. It was cool to see that because I love Spaceballs. It's my favorite comedy of all time, comedy film of all time. I love Spaceballs. So it was cool to see the Eagle 5 Winnebago, and of course Arma says, "I'll wait for the finish line, McFly." Back to the Future. Then he goes and figures out a clue, because he goes to that museum that James Halliday had, for like his memories and stuff. He had this curator, which is voiced by Simon Pegg. It was clearly obvious because I think it was like a little twist at the end. But because Simon Pegg has that distinct British accent, the recognizable British accent that he has, and I clearly knew that was Simon Pegg. And he makes him watch this video of James Halliday and Odin Morrow, Simon Pegg, talking to each other. And he gets a clue that he figures out the first challenge is that because Mark Rylance said something about going backwards. And so he figures out on the racetrack he goes backwards instead of forwards. He goes underneath the whole entire racetrack and gets to the finish line. And then the James Halliday's avatar was Arna Rock, whatever. Kind of looks like someone who looks like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, or another like total wizard type character we've seen. Gives him the first key. Then his friends, they also get the keys as well, And the clue, and then he gets the second clue that's like a creator who hates his own creation. Take the leap, or whatever. And then Wade goes to this virtual dance club, and you get more references. Like you see Harley Quinn in there, and then they do a dance. Parsifal and Artemis, they do a dance, and you get they're dancing to "Staying Alive," Bee Gees' "Staying Alive." So it was a cool thing because Bee Gees, "Staying Alive" is a classic song. So and of course, another one. He wears the suit from Buckaroo Banzai. This is his favorite film, so another good one, Buckaroo Banzai. And also when he was changing outfits in front of H, usually you got Thriller or Duran Duran. And while that's going on, Ben Mendelsohn as Nolan, him and his avatar, meets with this other guy, who's like a bounty hunter or thing, named I-Rock, and is played by T.J. Miller. Which he makes a sentence, he makes a quote about the Tootsie Roll, the little Tootsie Pop with the commercial with the owl. So I-Rock, he gets there watching, and when he overhears that Pardo tells Artemis his real name, then Iowa gets there, and another cool reference that Artemis uses the rifle from Aliens. It was cool to see that. I love Aliens. It was cool to see the rifle that she was using. Then Parsifal gets the Zemeckis cube to make everything go backwards. I think what I heard was the Back to the Future reference, part of the score, what I heard when he did that. Then Nolan gets his real name and kills Wade's aunt and her asshole boyfriend, which he was a total dick, basically. And he's like, "Oh, never call here. I never want to hear your voice again." Well, he got what he deserved because they blew up the house. Well, they're called the stacks. It's like trailer house upon trailer house, but yeah, the guy rigged, but not his aunt. So he gets caught by with this Samantha, real name, who has this birthmark across her eye like this, and part of the rebellion because of all the stuff with the corporation, and then they figure out, they talk and they figure out the second clue, because they also make another they watch another video between Mark Rylance and Simon Pegg talking, because Mark Rylance was in love with this girl who became Simon Pegg's wife, who died, and he said he was afraid to kiss her. That was a leap he didn't take. And also they went to see a movie, so which I think it comes to this next thing, because they went to see the curator to see what film they were playing during the time. They mentioned mentioned the Fly remake. He said, "Oh, the Fly remake, great movie," which I would agree there, because I enjoy the Fly remake from '86. So I was going to say, "Hey, great movie," which I'm like, I agree, that is. But it's a creator who hates his own creation, The Shining, because Stephen King, he doesn't like the film. And to me, this ends up being like the best part of the movie for me. Which the whole group, the High Five, they're literally in the movie of The Shining, like the live action, like how the '80s Shining film, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining looks, how the inside of the Overlook Hotel, they're actually in it, which I thought was really cool and clever to see, because I really enjoyed this. They're actually like the CG characters are actually in the movie of The Shining, which I thought that was really, to me, that was awesome to see. And then they see the two twins, "Come play with us, Danny." And they go in the elevator, then the elevator blood just falls down, floods the place, and then the H ends up in room 237. You see like the woman, which of course PG-13s, because of course they cover up the naked lady. And So that was cool. It was still cool to see. And then he gets scared because the woman gets changes into like a zombie, holding an axe. And when he backs up against the door, you see like Jack Torrance, chopping through the door. When he falls into the bathtub, into the hedge maze, which was cool to see. And you see like the character of Jack. You see his legs, and he's like carrying the axe, doing like this, because it's freezing. You see that though, but you don't see it's Jack Nicholson's face. You don't see that though, but the character, is Jack Torrance. So it was cool to see that. And then they see the giant zombie leg with the axe sweeping over, hitting. So the whole Shining sequence was really cool to see. I really enjoyed that scene. It was really cool and clever, that I was thinking, to be actually in the Shining of the Overlook Hotel. That was really cool to see. I really enjoyed that scene. I think it's one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Then they go to the ballroom, which they see like the floating zombies, which one of them dancing with Karen, the one who was Simon Pegg's wife, but also first loved Mark Rylance. Artemis gets to her first and turns into the Mark Rylance's avatar, gives him the second key. Then they get chased by the Iowa. Samantha gets captured, put into the corporation where all these people are like slaves and all that. And they already figured out the third challenge. It's on this Doom planet, and they said this tangible magic force field. They can only be broken by the spell that's said to raise it up. And Parzival helps Samantha break out, and then he raises an army. And while H becomes like the Iron Giant, and when Wade escapes, he meets the real people, his friends, and the real H, Sho, and Daito, which H is actually a woman, but they still are all friends, and like Shao was like an 11-year-old kid. So they raise the army, and then Artemis breaks the spell. The force field comes down. First the egg, first the key, first the egg, and all the characters are charging. You see like Chun-Li from Street Fighter. I forget the character's name, but from Overwatch. You see a little group of Master Chiefs from Halo, Gremlin, from Joe Dante's Gremlins, Spawn, He-Man. And so you have to be really quick to see these. Or, of course, DC characters. You see, like I said, Harley Quinn, Joker, Batgirl. And then, okay, one thing that really... You see the 2014 Ninja Turtles in this. The Michael Bay Ninja Turtle films. He produced them, though, but the Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtles from 2014. I hate those films. I do. I hate the way these turtles look. The moment I saw this in the theater, the moment I saw them, I was like, please get these turtles out of my face right now. I don't want to see these. Especially it's funny when it's a nod to like the 80s and 90s. Hold on a second. If it's supposed to be like the nod to 80s and 90s, for like the cartoon turtles or why don't you just put these? It came out in 1990. Why didn't you just put these? Well, because Steven Spielberg, I think he's friends with Michael Bay, because also especially he collaborated with Spielberg was executive producer on all of his Transformer films. Maybe that's why. But frick, you should put these in there, because this is a good nod from the 80s and 90s. Especially this came out in 1990. What's wrong with putting these though? But no. And I putting the stinking 2014 turtles on there. And I hate the design of those turtles. I hate those turtles. Steroid Hulks. Turtle versions of the Hulk, basically. Each one. That's one I hated to say. I just please Get those out of my face. I don't want to see those again. Hate the first film the most, and of course I especially hate the second film, Out of the Shadows. That's one that just really bugs me, just like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, really? Should have shown these turtles. These to me are the real turtles. Yeah, this is messing me up now. I'm dropping the DVDs now. It's messing me up already. But anyway, then they're driving the DeLorean, and that was a cool thing that it's not a character, it's not somebody playing as an avatar, but it's used as a weapon. Chucky, like you throw it and you kills a couple of bad people, henchmen, whatever. It's actually a weapon, not a person playing it. And then, it's freaking sad to see that this Chucky does more than any of the previous Child's Play films. More than the Chucky does any of the Child's Play films. That's sad to say, because this was like more fun. It's flying around like you can toss, and it's using a knife to cut all these guys down to size. And this Chucky does more than from Cult or Bride or Seed or Curse of Chucky. And this is a virtual game, not in the real life of the Child's Play films. So I'd say this Chucky does more than all these previous shitty Don Mancini films he's directed. But anyway, then the bridges, they blow the bridge out. The Iron Giant makes a bridge for them to get across. T.J. Miller shoots the Iron Giant, and this one I did not expect to see a reference. The ninja Show. They're running out of weapons to use, but the character Shao, he uses the glaive from Kroll, and take out T.J. Miller's weapon, the glaive. I was like, oh, that is totally awesome when I saw that. It was like, with a freaking glaive. That was totally cool to see. I enjoy Kroll. That's an underrated. I know it probably has gained a cult following over the years, though, but that's a great fantasy film. And the glaive, awesome weapon. It was really cool to see that I guess see that like throw the freaking glaive, That was a great one. I was surprised. I was surprised they used that. Considering the fact, it was all the legal rights from all these studios to put into this movie, from Universal to Columbia or what other studios, 20th Century Fox or Paramount, or any of these, or any of the other ones to put in this, because this is Warner Brothers, so it was all the legal rights to put into for all these references, yeah. But the glaive was cool to see. Not just cool, but awesome to see. It was awesome to see the glaive. And when the Iron Giant falls in the lava, does like the Terminator 2 thumbs up. That was another cool thing to see as well. And Ben Mendelsohn, his avatar gets into a Mecha Godzilla as well. It's supposed to be like a Mega Godzilla version of the 2014 Godzilla, because I can tell. And even the Iron Giant does a little fight with it. And Daito, who's the samurai, he becomes the Mobile Suit Gundam. The anime Mobile Suit Gundam, which I have not watched that. Especially me getting all these anime shows, I haven't really fallen in love with that show, Mobile Suit Gundam. I know there's like different series of them though, but I just never got the interest of seeing Gundam. I know, just like I've never been a fan of Dragon Ball Z either, so I guess there's certain animes I remember Dragon Ball Z growing up though, but I just never got the interest of seeing Dragon Ball Z. Mobile Suit Gundam or because there's so many titles for Gundam or Mobile Suit Gundam, so I never got the interest. And I got the interest of seeing that anime series. But it was cool to see it either way though, because we recognize what the Mobile Suit Gundam is. So then Daito gets eliminated. Then Artemis takes out Ben Mendelsohn's avatar, including Mecha Godzilla. Then the third challenge is like playing one of those old Atari video games, adventure, and it's supposed to be like the whole purpose. He tries to follow this invisible dot and bring it back, and then it unlocks the hidden third key. The third key, but Ben Mendelsohn, he has this device that can destroy everything on a whole planet, everybody who's on it. So he does. Everything gets all the avatars get obliterated, but Parzival, he got brought back by an extra life because the curator, because he lost a bet, handed him what was supposed to be a quarter, but it was actually an extra life. So he finishes the game. The Mark Rylance gets there, gives him the last key. While all this in reality, they're being chased by Ben Mendelsohn and his group, and then he gets into a room, like supposedly a real life room of the real James Halliday and a younger version of himself, and he gives him the Easter egg. Now, one thing is though, another thing that Mark Rylance, how his performance or portrayal of James Halliday, I don't know if it was in the book or how it was, but how the creator of the Oasis, how the way he looked, I think there was supposed to be like, either he was something he was like not right in the head, or just how the way he was, how he seemed like he was lost. He was talking like he was lost, like, oh where is it? Like, he's talking like this, and you're Parzival, aren't you? And like he's talking like he's either lost and not, or something is wrong with him in the head, like something like that. Though, if you get what I mean. I mean, just Mark Rylance. I mean, this is the third collaboration with Steven Spielberg, from Bridge of Spies, then the BFG, Big Friendly Giant. But I don't know. It's just how the way James Halliday was portrayed. Or I'm sure it wasn't Mark Rylance's fault, because probably how the way the scripts made him act like that though. But it's how the way the character was. He was always like acting like he was lost, or he was not right in the head or something. Even the way he was just even the conversations between him and Simon Pegg as well. So, but he gives him the Easter egg, and Parzival is asking, it's like, if is the real James Halliday dead? And he's like, yes. And he's like, what are you then? Doesn't even answer his question. He says, goodbye, Mr. Parzival, then leaves. And then Ben Mendelsohn gets there. He opens the car because he has got to put in his shoot, but he sees he's holding the Easter egg. The police get there and arrest him. Then Simon Pegg, he gets there. Sign the contract, but he says him and the high five, they're gonna split it up together. And of course, he realized that Simon Pegg was the curator because he gave him a quarter. Which I knew that was Simon Pegg. It was like, oh, he was the curator the whole time helping him. I already knew because of his, because the curator is speaking with his British accent, and Simon Pegg in the real world was talking trying to be like an American accent. But I knew that was Simon Pegg because he has that recognizable accent that he has. So, but I knew that was Simon Pegg. So, and then I would end with with more narration from Wade Watts. Is that the whole thing is that because advice with what James Halliday was speaking to him, like, in the real world it's real, where you have a decent meal and a roof over your head, and real stuff happening in the real world and all that stuff. So how he ended, like, the corporation went down, and they shut the place down, and the Oasis is closed on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so people can get a chance to be out in the real world and all that stuff. So which basically, like, kids stuck playing video games all the time, you get to be out in the real world. Just like me, because sometimes I can go on for like a few days without doing a video because I'm out in the real world because I work. That's because either with days where I don't feel like doing videos because I'm too tired because I worked a lot. So That's the reason why I sometimes I haven't uploaded a video like in a few or a day or two or even 3 days, because either I'm too tired because I've been working, or I just don't feel like it because I'm too tired. So yeah, that's the reason. But that's out in the real world, So doing your job and all that. But yeah. And just a quick references of all the ones I did mention, like in the opening at the start of the film, like you see on the Doom planet, you see Freddy, Jason, Duke Nukem, like you saw in the trailers. And as for songs, like the opening, how when the film opens up with "Jump" by Van Halen, and of course I mentioned the Bee Gees, "Staying Alive." Other songs that like "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" by Tears for Fears, "Stand On It" by Bruce Springsteen, "One Way or Another," yeah, because another speaking of "One Way or Another," when he first crossed the finish line of the first challenge, Artemis was in another disguise, in a costume. She was disguised as Prince Goro from Mortal Kombat, and then the chest burst from Alien pops out of it, to scare Parzival. That was another cool reference as well. So you got the rifle from Aliens, and then chest burster from Alien, and of course Prince Guru from Mortal Kombat. And also, since you're the Parzival, you need a disguise so you'll be recognized. Here, Clark Kent glasses. So it makes him dress basically like Clark Kent from Superman. So those are cool references as well. So the Clark Kent reference, Alien, Prince Guru. Also, in the other, you see Beetlejuice as well. Yeah, Beetlejuice. Like I said, you gotta pay attention for all these, because split seconds you're not gonna be able to see them. So that's why you have to freeze frame and to pause and see. So, but I'm sure there's other ones I missed, but yeah. And I'm almost going 40 minutes on this review, but I almost didn't hear. But yeah. But Ready Player One, I still like the film, but I don't love it because two major things. Our lead guy, he was boring. Tye Sheridan, didn't care for him. And Ben Mendelsohn, who plays the villain, who was just bland, generic. Because, typical cliche, evil corporation wants to take over, led by evil guy. So, yeah, cliched. So it was a lame villain. For the rest of the cast, Olivia Cooke, who plays Artemis, or Samantha, she was there, okay. Or the group who plays the High Five, they were there. I guess the one had the most energy was the H. Guess because there were some funny things, especially with The Shining. For the character was in The Shining, it's like, I never seen The Shining. Is it scary? Or we seen the twins like, hey, little girls, you gotta get out of here. Or with the naked lady as well, being chased to the hedge maze. I thought that was funny for this character to go through. So maybe out of the group H, maybe. But then Shao, Daito, there. T.J. Miller. I like T.J. Miller though, but I think it seemed like he was totally out of place. And for what's funny thing is, you never just see the real person of. Like this whole movie, you see only his avatar. You don't see the real person of T.J. Miller out in the real world. I thought that was kind of weird. Because you see everyone else in the real world, but you don't see him in the real world. You only see his avatar, I Rock. But he's kind of seemed out of place, though. Simon Pegg, I like Simon Pegg. I think overall he was fine. Mark Rylance, like I said, this is how the way his character was. It was like a screw loose or something, but I don't know, this is how the way he was portrayed. I really prefer his performances. Probably say performances. BFG had more energy to him as BFG in that movie, or Bridge of Spies. But yeah, the cast, overall, most of it was two of them not good. Most of them were But the score by Alan Silvestri was decent because using some of his score from Back to the Future. But visually, it's really of the Oasis, really well made. Definitely see it on the big screen, worth the budget. All the pop culture references, of course, I enjoy, except for freaking These. No, I'm not for. I'm referring to. I wish I would saw these instead of the freaking abominations of the 2014 Turtles. That's the one thing I freaking get those freaking out of my face. I want to put these in it because if you're referencing 90s and 80s stuff, should have put these in there. The more I keep bringing it up, I'm just gonna get more pissed off. So yeah, get those out of my face. I don't want to see those again. No more movies about those, which thank God, because the previous one didn't do that well. But yeah. But it was cool, awesome to see the glaive. Totally awesome to see the glaive. The Iron Giant, of course, the Terminator 2 thumbs up. The Shining, the whole thing with The Shining, best part of the movie. I really enjoyed that scene. It was clever. I would say very clever and cool to be actually in the Overlook Hotel. How the quality was like it was in the 80s. Of course, the rifle from Aliens, Prince Guru, Christine. Of course, the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Of course, because my all-time favorite movie, Jurassic Park. Of course, the DeLorean. I enjoyed seeing the DeLorean. All the other ones I've seen, like mentioned Chucky, the Master Chief from Halo, more than one of them. There's who see Spawn, you see He-Man, Gremlin, so many other Mechagodzilla, so many other stuff. Plus, I can't mention every single one because it's look really hard for them. But Ready Player One, so basically the visuals, all the pop culture references. These are scored by Alan Silvestri. Essentially, The Shining. Pretty much, maybe we'll keep watching. So, but yeah, Ready Player One. I still like the film. Maybe I'll put this in my. Well, it's not gonna be in my top. It's not in my top 5 without a doubt because I already have my top 5. Maybe I'll put this as 10 or 9. I have still to make my list. So, or maybe I think this will probably be an honorable mention. We'll have to see, because I think that's what it's going to turn to, because I said the lead and the villain were lame. So I'll probably make it to an honorable mention. See about that, though, but yeah. But overall, I still like the film. Steven Spielberg, like I said, I enjoy most of his movies. But, it's not his top 5 best, or probably not in his top 10, maybe, for me. But overall, Steven Spielberg does still do a decent job. And opening-wise, it opened number 1 with $41 million. That's the biggest opening he had in 10 years since The King of the Crystal Skull. And yes, I will say the 4th Indiana Jones film is better than this. As much people hate that 4th sequel, not me. I will defend that because I like the 4th Indiana Jones film. I definitely like this more than this. But yeah, I still like the film. Good to see in the theater, because for all the cult, especially see all the cult references on the big screen, of course. But yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.